this is Dominica the Capybara, and I'm going to talk about my research project, which is science fiction films and how these have influenced American society. When I was a little capybara, I used to play with dolls and stuff like that. But what I really enjoyed was watching movies, and not any kind of movie, science fiction films. So I was thinking, if science fiction films impacted my life, how these movies impacted the rest of the people, you know? So that's why I came up with it. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. From the beginning. Let's start with some historical context, to educate the masses. Basically, everything started in the 19th centuries. We have different key figures like the Lumiere brothers, Louis Le Prince, Kadanowski brothers. We have this beautiful example made by Louis Le Prince in 1888. It is considered one of the first motion pictures ever. So yeah, this man contributed to all this movement. By a lot. Yeah, most of these key figures are from France. Now we're going to America. In June 1889, there is Thomas Edison and his lab assistant William Dixon. At first, they developed the phonograph, which is the thing that he's touching right now. This device was producing sound, so they wanted to find a match that would produce visuals. And that's when they created the kinestoscope. Once they did that, they started showcasing different acts that they perform in Edison's Black Marine studio, which is the first film studio ever made. And then we have the Lumiere brothers creating the that that expanded through most of France. People started using it a lot. And one of the persons that started using it actually really worked out for him was George Méliès. He was literally an illusionist, a magician. He was obsessed with art and he had a bunch of fantasy ideas. He was obsessed with future as well, and he was trying to find a way to portray his ideas in one frame in a motion picture. And then that's why he first founded his first studio company. And from that, we had this piece of art. I know it looks weird, and the movie is completely weird, but it's considered the first science fiction film ever made. So that's Big Daddy right. So yeah, here. This was in 1902, and from then until the 30s, it was an experimental phase. Paying audiences were the Bella, the creation of Technicolor, and the evolution from silent film to a regular movie that we know. And now we have the movies that we all love, and produce some nostalgia in us. On the 30s and 40s, we have Buck Rogers. On the 50th, War of the Worlds, which we had a remake on the 2000s. Then we have Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T. on the 70s. We have Terminator on the 80s, and finally we have Matrix on the 90s. It was a huge thing because it was the first time that we were introduced to alternative universes and even AI, so it was a huge thing. Then we have the 2000 movies, which is, all the blockbusters, superheroes, DC, and Marvel, and also comes with a lot of bad movies that we didn't need, but it's okay. It's okay. We had good movies like Avatar and Predator, Alien vs. Predator. And this also reflects my audience, which is usually people from the 90s and the 2000s that were born in the 90s and the 2000s. But at the same time, I feel like everyone can relate to this topic because even if you like movies or not, there's always going to be a science fiction movie that impacted your life and changed you forever. Now, with all this being said, my first research question was, in which ways do science fiction films reflect or influence our society? We have the cultural and social aspect. We have movies like Her from 2013 that talks about human relationships, themes about human relationships like loneliness and loneliness in adulthood. Or we have Arrival that talks about the power of language, or even talks about political issue that reflects this aspect. Then we have technological aspects. I think it's the one that it first comes to our minds when we think about science fiction's influence on our society. But it's really logical. If we think, for example, I'm gonna use movies as an example. We have Star Trek that inspired the smartphones with their intercommunicator devices. Then we have artificial intelligence and robotics. For example, I have iRobot. We have iRobot versus Tesla Bot. That if you compare them, especially model, they look pretty similar. Also, transportation innovation, a Minority Report, the car drive itself in a futuristic reality. And then we have the Tesla Autopilot, which is completely autonomous this year. Now, for me, the most surprising technology is the medical technology, because nowadays we know that we have hair transplants, we have heart transplants, we even have face transplants, which is the most shocking for me. And we also have prosthetics, which I'm comparing a arm prosthetic from a regular person from this reality with Cyborg from Justice League from 2016. And even though obviously they don't look the same, you can see the inspiration from one another. Finally, we have the environmental aspect. Fun fact, on this genre, there's a subgenre called sci-fi, which is science fiction movies that talks about climate change, global warming, and the effects of these ones on human communities. Usually this happens in a dystopian world. On these movies you can see visions of renewable energy sources, eco-friendly transportation, and self-sustaining habitats, portraying in works like Avatar and Interstellar, where scientists and engineers explore innovative solutions to environmental crises. So finally, my last research question is: do science fiction films influence society in a positive or negative way? Well, if we really think about it, of course there's negative aspects. Of course there's a negative side of all of this. Like, obviously, if we talk about social aspects, a sedentary lifestyle or consumerism or our dependency on technology are some of the negative aspects that comes with science fiction films and science in general. They tend to inspire new technologies, and part of those new technologies could be weapons that are usually used against other people, which is not good. But at the same time, science fiction films brings more positive aspects to our lives more than anything else. Science fiction films especially, brings more joy to our life than anything else. Science fiction films are art, a way of creativity, a way of expression, and an inspiration for a lot of kids, including myself. I was raised my whole life with these movies, and they helped me to build the person that I am today. Science fiction films are tools to reflect our society, to make social criticism, to inspire new technologies, to create new worlds and new concepts that will bring us joy. These are tools made by us, and the only way that this will affect us negatively if we let these negative aspects to conquer our society and our values. Besides that, science fiction films are a global treasure and a footprint of our evolution as society.